as Mark's saying there, the 3 years seems like it's a very long time, especially when you compare that to other managers. But it seems like United, they want to try and show that there's a level of stability there. But it's interesting because the deal itself, I've seen more people who don't support Man United celebrating it more than, say, United fans themselves. And that kind of says a lot. It's a bit cheeky, but, ultimately United haven't won anything in that time. So people don't necessarily fear him or fear the club at this moment in time. Obviously, they're looking to progress from those positions. Finishing second last year, obviously their eyes will be set on winning the league this year. But if United have a bad year this year, it would seem strange to have a manager there in play, who would have 2 more years left on his contract. So I don't get it. I don't get it in terms of the length. But, it's I suppose there's just a lot of pressure on Solskjaer this year because, as I say, if it goes wrong, it would make no difference whether he had a year left or 3. I think he'll probably be out the door.
What struck me from Mark's answer initially was the fact that he said they had to give him a new contract because he was in his last year.
Yeah.
Why?
That's
a strange thing.
I don't know. Because in all honesty, unless Manchester United somehow have a 19-point gap by November, Solskjaer's going nowhere. Let's be perfectly honest here. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is leaving Manchester United. There's no other big clubs in European football would have him. I'd go so far as to say I don't think he walks away from United. I don't think there are any other Premier League clubs who would just take a chance on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer unless, as I say, the incredible happens between now and December. So to Mark's point or to your question, I don't get that either. Okay, but if Manchester United decide that, yes, we do want to take this opportunity to sign him to a new contract, I don't get the length of it. I said when he first became Manchester United manager, I would be surprised if there wasn't a rather inexpensive get-out clause in that contract somewhere. And I'll double down. While I've seen it reported nowhere, if there isn't a rather inexpensive get-out clause to Manchester United with this contract with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that club is just being terribly run.
Right.
Because, again, to the point, nobody really wants Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So what are you protecting yourself against?
Nedum, what was striking, people supporting this contract were putting out stats that he's accrued more points than any other club with the exception of Liverpool and Manchester City since he's taken over. This is Manchester United. You're celebrating being third best. It seems very, very strange and very different to the side that we grew up watching.
Yeah, 100%. I think the Premier League for the first probably 15, 20 years was one which basically you'd have to mention Manchester United every time you spoke about it because they were the dominant force within it. But the fact that they've not won anything for probably, I think, 4 or 5 years now is crazy to see. And when we talk about Solskjaer coming in to be part of, this growth and development of Manchester United, it's absolutely not something that we're used to seeing. And it's, it doesn't feel right. I think if United have another 3 years in the same way that they've just had in the past, what are Manchester United as a football club? Off the field, they are one of the biggest teams and clubs in the world. But if you're happy to be behind Liverpool and Man City, who, by the way, are probably the 2 biggest rivals in the league, then that kind of sets the wrong tone. I think the fan base itself, they're not used to that. Being a Man City fan and being an ex-Man City player, we used to get laughed out of the city whenever there was a derby coming up. We were a complete laughing stock. So to see that other side of Man United now, where they almost feel like, they're not like. You shouldn't mention the word progressing with Manchester United. It should just be success. That's how everybody's seen them for the years gone by. So I don't know. It's weird, but as every year passes and City bring more success, and as Mark Ogden tried to hint at there, Pep's won several trophies. I think several kind of downplays it a little bit. As Pep's won a lot of trophies. I quite enjoy that United aren't necessarily at the best right now. It just makes it feel that little bit better.
How would you define a successful season for Manchester United then coming up under Solskjaer, Nedum?
For me, I think they've reached the point where it's plain and simple. They have to win something. They have to win something. And even with the winning something, they have to look convincing in doing so. Because if they finish second in the Premier League again, then time's gone by. If a manager was finishing second, third, fourth, year in, year out, they'd probably look to replace him with somebody else. But this is United who are trying to get there and trying to compete. And they might not necessarily have the same type of squad as Man City now, but they have stability. They've got a player base there which has been playing for a good few years now. And they have to be winning stuff. The United fans themselves, I doubt they'll be happy with talking about progress. I think I don't know, I'd say they have to win something. I don't know if it's going to be that easy, but they have. in my opinion, they have to win something, because for too long now they've not been part of that conversation. And in the meantime, you're having teams, for example, with all due respect to them, like Leicester City, who have won stuff. So questions for me need to be asked, because which club would you expect to have won more in the last couple of years, Man United or Leicester City?
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.